Have you ever wondered what it takes to truly thrive while living alone in your later years? The freedom, independence, and peace it offers can be incredibly rewarding, but it can also come with its own set of challenges. As we age, the choices we make about how we live can greatly impact our health, safety, and emotional well-being. In this video, we're diving deep into the 5 crucial things to avoid when living solo in your golden years. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Whether you're already living alone or thinking about embracing it, this video will provide practical, life-changing insights. We'll explore the hidden dangers of isolation, how neglecting your health can lead to serious complications, and the safety hazards that can sneak up on you when you least expect them. Plus, you'll learn how to manage household chores without overwhelming yourself, and discover why maintaining your mental and emotional well-being is just as important as your physical health. Stay tuned until the end, and I'll share actionable steps you can take right now to improve your living situation. These simple changes will help you stay independent, healthy, and emotionally fulfilled as you age. You deserve to enjoy your later years to the fullest, and this video will give you the tools to make it happen. Let's get started. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. 1. Social isolation. One of the most profound, often invisible struggles that many elderly individuals face when living alone is the crushing weight of social isolation. As the years pass, and the world around us seems to grow busier and more distant, the temptation to retreat into the comfort of solitude becomes overwhelming. There is something so peacefully alluring about the quietude of one's own home, the stillness that envelopes you like a blanket. It seems safe, familiar, and even cozy at first. But what begins as a simple preference for peace can soon evolve into a slow, steady descent into a far darker reality. A soul-deep isolation that can silently consume an individual, turning what once felt like serenity into a suffocating loneliness. At the core of this struggle lies a fundamental truth about human nature. We are social creatures. We are built for connection, for community, for relationships that sustain us. From the first moments of our lives, we crave the touch, the comfort, the conversation, and the companionship of others. Our hearts beat in rhythm with those around us. As we age, however, the reality of our social networks often begins to change. Friends may pass away, family members grow busy with their own lives, and the phone calls or visits that once filled our days become fewer and fewer. What starts as the occasional quiet evening spent alone can gradually turn into weeks, then months of disconnection, until the silence of the empty room becomes all that is left. The painful truth is that as we grow older, this sense of connection does not fade. Rather, it becomes even more essential. And yet, the very fabric that once held us close to others begins to unravel. The loneliness that emerges from this disconnection is not just a fleeting emotion. It can become all-consuming and overwhelming. It is the kind of loneliness that seeps into your bones, the kind that wraps itself around your heart, leaving you feeling like you are drifting further and further away from the world. It's a loneliness that has no voice, no clear shape, but one that exists in the long hours of the night, in the empty spaces where laughter and conversation used to be. The impact of isolation on the mental, emotional, and physical well-being of older adults is far-reaching and devastating. Studies have shown that this loneliness can lead to depression. Not just a fleeting sadness, but a profound sense of despair that can cloud every thought and feeling. It's the kind of despair that makes getting out of bed feel like an insurmountable task, the kind that makes every day feel like an endless period with no purpose, no meaning, no joy. The emotional weight of it all can wear away at a person's self-worth, leading them to feel like a burden to others or as though they no longer have value in society. But the damage does not stop there. The psychological toll of isolation can also manifest in physical health problems. Without the social interactions that stimulate the mind and nourish the soul, there is a very real decline in cognitive function. Studies have shown that isolation is linked to an increased risk of cognitive decline, even dementia. The brain, much like the body, needs exercise and engagement to remain sharp. Without the regular mental stimulation provided by socializing, our cognitive abilities can begin to deteriorate. What was once sharp and quick becomes foggy and distant. Memories may fade, thoughts may scatter, and the things that once brought joy, like reading, cooking, or walking, lose their appeal. Furthermore, isolation can begin to erode the very motivation to engage with life itself. When people are isolated, They often withdraw from activities that would normally bring them a sense of accomplishment or joy. It becomes increasingly difficult to find the energy to stay active, to keep moving, and to stay engaged with the world outside of the four walls of the home. The more withdrawn one becomes, the less motivation they have to take care of themselves. Physical health begins to deteriorate as well. Exercise, once a simple part of daily life, becomes something of the past. The simple act of getting out of bed and moving around the house can become an exhausting task, a challenge that seems insurmountable. The less we engage with the world, the harder it becomes to break free from the grip of isolation. And yet, there is something even more insidious about this isolation. It has a way of making us feel invisible. It's as if the world forgets we're here. When people are isolated, it's easy for them to lose their sense of self, to believe that they no longer matter. They may begin to feel as though they are not deserving of attention, affection, or connection. The warmth of a conversation, the joy of sharing a meal with others, the simple act of sitting beside someone and watching a sunset, these things begin to seem like distant dreams, something out of reach. The longer the isolation lingers, the more we come to believe that we are alone in the world, that no one is left who truly cares. But this is a harsh, damaging illusion. The truth is that human beings, all of us, have an inherent need to be seen, heard, and valued. This need does not fade with age. It remains vital to our well-being, as necessary as food and water. Connection, companionship, and communication are not luxuries. They are lifelines. Yet, as we grow older, the chances for social engagement seem to become more limited and more scarce. It is not just the physical distance that separates us from others, but often the emotional and psychological barriers that prevent us from reaching out. The reality of social isolation in older age is something that can't be ignored. It is not just about feeling lonely for a moment or two. It is about the long-term impact that this isolation has on the mind, the body, and the spirit. It is about the deep, silent suffering that so many seniors endure every day, often without anyone even knowing. But the good news is that isolation is not an irreversible fate. It can be broken. Reaching out to others, whether through family, friends, or even community resources, can begin to stitch together the torn fabric of social connection. Engaging in hobbies, joining clubs, volunteering, or simply making an effort to speak with a neighbor or a stranger can spark the kind of connections that breathe life back into an isolated soul. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Ultimately, the struggle against isolation is not just about avoiding the damage it causes. It's about reclaiming the dignity, the joy, and the purpose that every human being deserves, no matter their age. It's about remembering that we are not meant to live in isolation. We are meant to connect, to belong, to share in the beautiful complexity of life. It is this connection, not just with others, but with our sense of self, that will light the way through the darkness of isolation and remind us that we are, and always have been, an integral part of the human story. 2. Neglecting health care. As we grow older and navigate the complexities of living alone, the subtle yet powerful forces of isolation can take a toll on our health in ways we might not even fully comprehend. The independence we once cherished may, without warning, morph into a quiet battle. One where the absence of others to gently nudge us toward self-care can lead to a slow but insidious neglect of our well-being. In the peaceful solitude of our homes, it's all too easy to slip into a false sense of security, lulled by the familiarity of routine and the belief that if nothing feels wrong, then nothing needs to be done. But this is precisely where the danger lies. The seemingly innocent act of overlooking our health can slowly snowball, leading to consequences that, at first glance, may seem trivial but later reveal themselves to be life-altering. When we no longer have the comforting presence of family or a partner to remind us about appointments, medications, or even the basic acts of daily care, such as staying hydrated or taking our prescribed pills on time, the absence of these gentle nudges can slowly erode the quality of our lives. It's not out of negligence or apathy. It's the overwhelming silence that comes with solitude, the quiet that can so easily drown out the cries for help from our bodies. When no one is around to check in, we may unknowingly forget to take our medications, delay scheduling important doctor visits, or push aside the subtle signals our bodies send us, thinking they'll go away on their own. But this neglect, however small it may seem, can lead to far-reaching consequences, some of which may be irreversible. The toll of this neglect isn't immediate. It's gradual, like a creeping fog that envelopes us without warning. Chronic conditions, which we have learned to live with over time, can worsen without the vigilant oversight they require. These conditions may spiral into something more severe, leaving us to face potential medical emergencies alone, unprepared, and unaware of the dangers lurking just beneath the surface. That simple forgetfulness about a blood pressure medication, or that missed screening, can quickly escalate into a full-blown health crisis, one that we may not be able to overcome as easily as we once could. But the truth is, we deserve better than to live in fear of what we cannot control. The first and most empowering step in taking charge of our health is the decision to make self-care a priority. Regular medical appointments, more than just routine checkups, become our lifelines, our shields against the unpredictable changes that aging brings. They are a promise to ourselves that we will not let the noise of the world drown out our own need for care and attention. As we age, these visits transform from a mere formality to an essential part of our survival. They are no longer optional, they are non-negotiable. Preventive care is no longer a luxury we can afford to postpone. It is a necessity that we must embrace with urgency. These appointments are more than a chance to check our vitals. They are opportunities to take stock of our bodies, address early warning signs before they turn into life-threatening issues, and ensure that we can continue to live our lives with as much independence and vitality as possible. Through regular screenings, timely assessments, and the careful monitoring of any existing conditions, we gain a sense of control over our health that can be the difference between thriving and merely surviving. This commitment to our health isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about honoring the life we've built, the experiences we've gathered, and the future we still have yet to live. The more we care for our bodies, the more we allow ourselves the freedom to savor the moments we hold dear. We owe it to ourselves, and to those who love us, to ensure that we are not just existing, but truly living with strength, joy, and resilience. After all, the greatest gift we can give ourselves is the opportunity to live out our years with dignity, vitality, and the deep peace that comes from knowing we've done everything in our power to care for the one body we will ever have. 3. Safety hazards at home. As we grow older, the very place that should be our sanctuary, the home, can become an arena of unseen threats, often posing greater risks than we could have ever imagined. Home should be where we seek refuge, where we find solace after a long day, where we retire to rest and recharge. But for elderly individuals living alone, the home can also present dangers that challenge their sense of security and independence. The passage of time inevitably brings about physical changes, some subtle and some profound. Once effortless tasks, like walking across the room, bending down to pick something up, or even getting in and out of bed, can suddenly seem daunting. These small everyday activities, which once required little thought or effort, now demand more caution, more awareness, and sometimes more assistance. As these changes unfold, it becomes essential to recognize that our physical abilities, though resilient, are not as unyielding as they once were. The harsh reality is that these adjustments can make us more vulnerable to accidents, and in the case of older adults, even the smallest misstep can lead to life-altering consequences. The home, once a space where we felt completely at ease, can become fraught with dangers that, if ignored, can strip away our independence, robbing us of the freedom we've spent a lifetime nurturing. Skipping the necessary safety precautions, small adjustments to our environment, can have devastating effects. What's even more heart-wrenching is that many accidents could be entirely preventable. Yet the simple reality is that many seniors live in homes that are not properly equipped to ensure their safety. One of the most common and treacherous risks for older adults is falling. It's not just a statistic, it's a terrifying reality. Falls are the leading cause of injury for seniors, and unfortunately, they are far too frequent in the home. The impact of a fall is not merely physical, it is emotional, psychological, and often financial as well. Imagine the sheer shock, the sudden panic of hitting the floor, and the immediate realization that you can no longer rely on your body to keep you safe. The vulnerability is overwhelming. And it's not just the physical pain of a fall that lingers. The psychological toll can be just as severe. The fear of falling again, of being trapped or alone, can become all-consuming, making you hesitant to engage in activities you once loved, and leaving you feeling isolated in a place that should feel like home. What's even more disheartening is that falls often happen in places we least expect. The bathroom, where slippery surfaces and wet floors create a perfect storm for accidents. The stairs, where a misstep can send you tumbling. Or even the simplest walk of the living room, where an unnoticed rug or piece of furniture could cause a catastrophic trip. These are the places we feel most comfortable, but they hold hidden dangers that can turn our sanctuary into a perilous place in an instant. For seniors living alone, the danger of falling becomes even more pronounced. In the event of an accident, there may be no one nearby to help, no one to call for assistance, and no one to ensure that immediate medical attention is provided. The isolation that accompanies living alone can make the consequences of a fall far worse than the physical injury itself. There is a profound sense of vulnerability that comes with knowing that, in those quiet moments when you're alone, a single misstep could alter your life forever. This is why safety must be more than just a priority. It must become a non-negotiable part of daily life. The idea of safety should be woven into the fabric of every room, every corridor, every step taken. It's not just about preventing accidents. It's about preserving dignity and independence, ensuring that the years ahead are lived with the confidence and freedom that every individual deserves. Simple, proactive steps can make all the difference. Installing grab bars in bathrooms, securing rugs to prevent trips, improving lighting in hallways and stairways to reduce the risk of unseen obstacles, and ensuring that emergency numbers are easily accessible. These are not mere suggestions. They are essential elements of a home that will continue to offer comfort, security, and peace of mind for years to come. Ultimately, ensuring safety at home is about more than just physical health. It's about fostering an environment where seniors can live without fear, where they can enjoy their lives fully, knowing that their home is a haven that supports their well-being. It's about preserving the autonomy that means so much in the later years of life, and about protecting the essence of who we are. Aging may bring its share of challenges, but it should never rob us of the chance to live our lives with dignity, comfort, and peace. By taking the necessary steps to safeguard our homes, we protect not only our bodies but our spirits and our futures. 4. Overwhelming household chores. Living alone in your later years often transforms what was once a simple and routine part of life, managing household chores, into a monumental, emotionally draining task. What once seemed like a straightforward part of daily living, cooking a meal, washing the dishes, or tidying up, can suddenly feel like an insurmountable mountain. The weight of keeping up with everything can begin to feel unbearable. Every day, you might find yourself fighting an invisible battle against a never-ending list of chores. You wake up intending to check things off, yet as soon as you finish one task, another one emerges in its place. There's no one to pass the broom to, no one to share the load, and as the hours pass, the weight of responsibility grows heavier. The emptiness of having no one to rely on or turn to for assistance can create a profound sense of isolation. The feeling of being overwhelmed by clutter, dishes, laundry, or cleaning tasks can become a daily mental and physical strain. As these tasks pile up, so too do feelings of helplessness and frustration. It's hard to look around your home, the very space that once brought you comfort and security, and see it in disarray. When your living space feels chaotic or unkempt, it can subtly chip away at your emotional well-being, leaving you feeling more drained, stressed, and even hopeless. The overwhelming desire to maintain a clean, safe environment may turn into an exhausting, never-ending cycle, where you feel like you're failing if you don't stay on top of everything. The reality is that neglecting these tasks, or letting them consume you, doesn't just affect the aesthetics of your home, it can also impact your physical health. A cluttered or dirty space can become unsafe, creating hazards that put you at risk for slips, trips, and falls. Moreover, the emotional toll of dealing with constant mess and chaos can contribute to feelings of sadness, anxiety, or even depression. The last thing you want is to feel trapped in your own home, unable to keep up with the things that matter most to you. But here's the most important truth. You don't have to carry the weight of these responsibilities on your own. The fear of asking for help often holds many seniors back, as there's a deep, ingrained belief that needing assistance is a sign of weakness or a loss of independence. This couldn't be further from the reality. The act of reaching out for support is not an admission of defeat. In fact, it's an act of profound strength. By accepting help from family, friends, or even professional services, you're not surrendering your independence, but rather preserving your health, well-being, and peace of mind. It's a choice to prioritize your mental and physical health over pride, allowing you to live with dignity and grace. By embracing the support available to you, you create space for more joy, relaxation, and the ability to focus on the things that matter most. The help doesn't have to come from a large group of people. It could be a family member who visits once a week, a neighbor who offers to take care of errands, or a professional cleaner who comes by every so often. These seemingly small gestures can have an enormous impact, lifting a heavy burden from your shoulders and allowing you to breathe easier. When you let go of the need to do everything yourself, you free up energy to focus on other aspects of life, the things that truly bring you joy and fulfillment. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by chores, you can reclaim your home as a sanctuary once again. You can rest in the peace of knowing that your environment is clean, safe, and nurturing. In accepting help, you not only make space for a physically healthier home, but you also nurture your emotional well-being, allowing yourself to savor the simple moments that make life so precious. Your home should be a place where you can recharge, reflect, and grow, not one where you feel defeated by the unrelenting demands of maintaining it. With the right balance of assistance, your home can become a true reflection of your ability to adapt, thrive, and continue living with purpose and joy. 5. Ignoring mental and emotional well-being. Living alone, though often a cherished choice for those seeking solitude, can quietly and insidiously lead to the neglect of one's mental and emotional health. In the peaceful stillness of solitude, it's easy to slip into the habit of prioritizing the tangible aspects of life, the physical needs, while pushing the emotional and mental well-being aside. We live in a world where physical health is often placed at the forefront of our concerns, with exercise routines and healthy eating habits frequently taking precedence. But what we often overlook is that our minds and hearts are just as fragile and deserving of care. When we neglect the emotional and psychological sides of our being, the consequences can be subtle yet profoundly damaging. Emotional neglect doesn't always come with loud alarms or urgent calls for help. Instead, it creeps in quietly, manifesting in feelings of loneliness, sadness, or even the deep darkness of depression. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Living without the constant presence of others, without a bustling household or a regular support system, can make it all too easy to fall into isolation. Without the comforting rhythm of daily interactions, it becomes easier to slip into negative thought patterns. The mind left untended can quickly turn inward, spiraling into feelings of unworthiness, self-doubt, and the bitter sting of loneliness. The absence of social engagement creates an emotional void, where happiness seems like a distant memory, and each day feels harder to face than the last. The silence can feel suffocating, a constant reminder of the isolation that surrounds you. It's as if the walls of your home echo with a growing sense of emptiness, and your thoughts become your loudest companions. This sense of isolation is not only mentally exhausting, it can weigh heavily on your soul, slowly eroding your sense of self-worth and peace. But despite the emotional fog that can sometimes envelop those who live alone, it's important to remember that the absence of others doesn't have to mean the absence of connection. Maintaining your mental and emotional well-being becomes even more crucial when you're on your own. You don't have to wait for the outside world to knock on your door. Reaching out, even in small ways, can make all the difference. A simple phone call to a family member or friend, or even sending a message to someone you trust, can be a lifeline. These seemingly minor acts can be a beacon of light in the darkness, reminding you that you are not invisible and that there are people who care, even when it feels like you are adrift. Social interaction, whether in person or virtual, is essential for preventing the creeping tide of loneliness. It's the warmth of shared experiences and the joy of meaningful conversations that can breathe life back into your days. Additionally, it's important to engage in activities that nourish and stimulate the mind, as the health of the mind is just as vital as the health of the body. Without mental stimulation, our thoughts can turn inwards, and before long, we find ourselves lost in a labyrinth of doubt and regret. To combat this, it's vital to cultivate habits that engage your intellect and creativity. Reading, for example, can be a sanctuary, transporting you to different worlds and giving you a break from your worries. Solving puzzles, whether they be crosswords or brain teasers, keeps your mind sharp and agile, while also providing a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Taking up a new hobby or revisiting an old passion can fill your time with purpose and ignite a sense of joy that you thought was lost. Whether it's painting, gardening, or learning a new skill, these activities not only provide mental stimulation but also serve as a reminder that life still holds many treasures, waiting to be discovered. Your mental and emotional health is the cornerstone of a fulfilling life, and even in solitude, you can create a nourishing environment that fosters peace, joy, and self-love. It's not just about surviving, but about thriving in a way that is deeply connected to your inner world. By tending to your emotional and psychological needs, you are ensuring that the later years of life aren't defined by loneliness and despair, but instead are rich with meaning, connection, and resilience. As you learn to embrace solitude, you can discover new depths of self-awareness and self-compassion, ultimately leading to a life that is not just lived, but truly cherished. So, don't wait for others to reach out to you. Take the first step and reach out for yourself. In doing so, you can prevent the crushing weight of isolation and replace it with the peaceful serenity of a well-nurtured heart and mind. As we wrap up today's video, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed about the importance of mental and emotional well-being as we age, especially when living alone. We've learned that solitude can sometimes lead to feelings of isolation and sadness, but with the right practices, we can protect our emotional health, find joy in simple activities, and build meaningful connections even in silence. We've also seen how engaging in stimulating activities and reaching out to loved ones can make a world of difference in maintaining our happiness and mental sharpness. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned today that you're going to put into practice in your life? Is it about reaching out more to friends or family, finding new hobbies, or simply taking better care of your mental health? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to read them and start a conversation. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue creating videos that matter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.